Hey everybody, welcome back. We're doing Peak Eats this week with Robyn. So we are going to be doing a recipe share, and then Robyn's going to do a bit of a Q&A for us. So if everyone remembers Robyn, she's done several different health and nutrition sessions for us already. Got a few nods there. So I hope you guys are all excited for the session tonight. And without further ado, I'll hand it over to you, Robyn.
Hey, awesome. Can you guys hear me okay? All right, it's so good to see you guys. Thumbs up, who's doing great tonight? Are you ready to do a recipe? Awesome. Okay, you guys, so tonight I'm going to take you through a recipe and I'm going to show you how to make what's called banana ice cream. And essentially it's an ice cream alternative made from frozen bananas. Has anyone ever made this before? Thumbs up. Has anyone made it before? Yeah, I see a couple people. Okay, that's great. So I'm going to take you through how I make it, but of course there's lots of different ways. So feel free to follow along or take notes, put it in the back of your mind for next time you have some bananas you need to use up, but you don't know what to do with them. I'm more than happy to write out my recipe and send it to Special O, and they can pass it along to you guys if you are interested. Otherwise, you can always just go on Google and type in banana ice cream, and I'm sure some modification will come up for this recipe I'm going to make with you. Okay, so let's get started. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm going to pull you guys a bit closer so you guys can see what I'm doing, and I'm going to move the screen a little bit. And so for this recipe, what we're doing essentially is we're freezing bananas, and then we're taking them out of the freezer, we're putting them in our blender or food processor, and we're making a creamy consistency that's very similar to ice cream. So you need very few ingredients with this, which is awesome, and it's really, really delicious. So I'll take you over here. Essentially what we're gonna need for this recipe is some bananas, of course. You can use bananas at any ripeness. I prefer, and I think they taste better in this recipe when they are a bit more ripe. So when they're just starting to have these brown spots on them, I think that's the perfect time to throw them in your freezer for this recipe. If they're not ripe enough, the sugars are not crystallized enough and they'll taste really, really strange. So wait a few more days until they start to have those brown spots, and then you know it's the perfect time for this recipe. So of course, what we're gonna do, peel our bananas. I only have one tonight, but usually I do two, sometimes three, but it's up to you. You can do one, two, or three, or how many ever you want. So we have our peeled banana. I have my cutting board. And essentially what we're gonna do is just chop up our banana. You can either just use your hands, but I find if you use a knife, it just gets a better consistency for each piece. And it makes freezing them a lot easier. So just quickly, we're gonna chop up our banana into little discs. You don't want them to be too thick, or else it's gonna be really hard for them to blend in our blender or food processor. So make them pretty thin so you guys can see maybe a quarter of an inch, half an inch. And then we're gonna take a container that can go in the freezer and pop those in. And once you put it in the freezer, these will probably take a couple of hours at least to freeze. I tend to just throw them in whenever my bananas are really ripe enough, and then I just know I have some in the freezer, whatever I want to make this recipe. But I would say at least probably 4 to 5 hours to freeze them fully, depending on how thick you're slicing them. So you take this, you pop it in the freezer. Luckily, I am prepared and I have some pre-frozen ones already. So I put these in the freezer a couple of days ago, and they are nice and crystallized and frosty and ready to go in our food processor. So I'm gonna put it back up here so you guys can see. So I am using an actual food processor. I have the Kenwood mixer, and I just have the food processor attachment. Feel free, if you don't have a food processor, you can definitely use a blender. I would just suggest that it's a higher end, that's because it's going to take a lot of power to crush frozen bananas. Just looking at the comments here. Peel bananas, also remember the game. Oh, yes. Oh, okay, I see Andrew's comment. What if we don't have an ice cream maker? Do not worry. You can always just use a blender if you have one. Even things like a magic bullet will work as well. Just making sure that we are slicing them thin enough so it's not overloading the power of the blender or whichever machine you are using. Okay, so I'm going to take my sliced bananas and I'm just going to dump them here into my food processor. So once they're in here, you of course should have some sort of liquid to help them blend up nicely. So I prefer some sort of milk, if it's either just dairy milk or a non-dairy milk alternative, such as oat milk or almond milk or anything like that. You can also just use water. Water works just fine. I just like to use some sort of milk-based product because I find it makes it more creamy. And so tonight I have oat milk with me. And so I just poured it out here and I'm just gonna put some of it in a little bit at a time, just until I get to that nice consistency that I like. If you like your ice cream more thin, more like a really soft serve, then I would put more liquid in. If you like it a bit harder or thicker, then I would put less in. But just make sure you put enough in that it's gonna get to a nice consistency where all the bananas can actually blend up together and you're not overloading your blender or food processor. So I'm just gonna put a little bit in right now. So I have 2 bananas in here and I would say I just use about 1/4 cup of the liquid, and then I'm gonna blend it all up. Now I am gonna put I'm gonna put myself on mute just for a minute or two because this is really, really loud and it's bothersome, so I don't wanna overload you guys. So I'm gonna put myself on mute. But what I'm gonna do, put it on, I'm gonna start it up, and then I'm gonna take my spatula and I'm just gonna stop it once in a while to scrape down the sides and then keep it going. So bear with me, but I'm gonna be on mute for about a minute. Okay, so this is where the fun part comes in and you can customize whatever ice cream you would like. So at this point, you can put in whatever you want. Open it up, scrape down the sides, make sure that everything is mixing up nicely, and then you can put whichever toppings or customization you would like. So my personal favorite thing to do with my ice cream is peanut butter. So I just have some peanut butter here and chocolate chips. That's what I really like to put in. And so that's what you're gonna do first. I recommend blending your bananas up first and then adding your toppings in, just because it just allows it to blend up nicely. So take off my lid. I put in my peanut butter. That's probably about a tablespoon, maybe 1.5 tablespoons. And then I measured out 2 tablespoons of chocolate chips. I usually do not measure anything. I just kind of grab a handful and chuck it in. I just thought I would be a bit more organized for you guys. So this is 2 tablespoons of chocolate chips. Put those in. And then I'm going to blend it up again. And I'm going to put you guys on mute, or myself on mute. And that's basically it, you guys. We have awesome ice cream made from bananas. So I'm going to scoop it out and I'll show you what the final product looks like. Of course, always being very careful because I have cut myself on these blades before and it's really not that fun. And if you find your ice cream is too soft and it's not quite the consistency you like, what you can always do is you can just take it out, scoop it out, and then pop this bowl in the fridge, or sorry, not the fridge, the freezer for maybe half an hour or 45 minutes, and it'll start to harden up a little bit more. And then you kind of get the hard ice cream effect. I would call this soft serve ice cream, but if you want it to be a traditional hard ice cream, chuck it in the freezer for an hour, half an hour, whatever consistency you really want, and it will firm it up for you. So this is the final product. It tastes delicious, and it's a really great alternative to traditional dairy ice cream. And it's made at home, so you know exactly what's in it. There's no added sugar apart from the chocolate chips, of course. But if you are sensitive or have any allergies, just omit those things and feel free to add in whatever mix-ins you would like, whether that's coconut or oats, or caramel sauce, hot sauce, fudge, not hot sauce, fudge, a hot fudge sauce, anything like that. So whatever you guys want, or even if you don't want to put the toppings in the actual ice cream or blend it up, just put it on top afterwards, whatever you guys really want. So let's take a look at the comments. No allergic to peanuts, yes. Yeah, so definitely if you are allergic to peanuts, do not put peanut butter in this recipe, just omit it and put another alternative if you are sensitive, you know, if almond butter works for you or things like that. But if you really do have allergies, of course, omit everything and just have plain or add in other mix-ins that work for you. It looks great. Vanilla ice cream. Yeah, vanilla ice cream. If you wanted to add a bit of vanilla, that's a really great idea to make it a bit more vanilla. Can I post the? Yes, I will definitely give this recipe to Justin and he can put it up there for you. Oat milk is not dairy. Yeah, so like I said, if you have sensitivities or lactose intolerant or you don't consume dairy milk for whatever reason, definitely go with a non-dairy route. And like I said, if anything else, you can just use water. I tried it with water, it works just fine. Perfect. So I think that's everything. How does oat milk taste? You know what, it tastes fine. It's not my favorite just to drink straight by itself. It does have a very kind of nutty underlay flavor, but I don't mind it. But I typically just don't drink any non-dairy milk by itself. I would mix something in it. So I put it in my smoothies or this type of recipe, but it really is not, it's not offensive. It tastes fine. Yeah, so I got a question, is soya milk good for this? Yeah, definitely. If soy milk works for you, definitely try it, put it in the recipe. Whatever type of liquid you guys can tolerate or enjoy is definitely gonna work for this, as long as it's you know, milk-based, non-dairy milk or water. Can I put fruit juice or other? Yeah, great idea, Danielle. Yes, I definitely think you could put any type of juice that you wanted, kind of spice it up, make it a more like a pina colada flavor of ice cream, which would be a really great idea, I think. So yeah, definitely. This is kind of a take on ice cream / a smoothie bowl. So have any of you guys ever seen the smoothie bowls that were really popular? You know, you mix everything in a blender and then you actually pour the smoothie in a bowl and then put toppings on it rather than drinking it through a straw. It's kind of the same thing. So yes, definitely you can use any type of fruit juice that you wanted to. Put a banana in the blender. Yeah, that's a great idea. You can put apple juice with your bananas. That's perfect. Banana, yes. So hopefully you guys, I hope you guys enjoy this. If you try it, please let us know if you like it. And definitely try to put any combination you really like. If you like chocolate chips, if you want to put nuts in it, if you want to put sprinkles on top of it, anything like that. it's really up to you, whatever you like and enjoy. And that's the beauty of this recipe. You can really customize it to whatever your preferences are and what you guys enjoy the most. Yes, the password for this, I will type it in the chat, but it is the word shrimp. Andrew says, perhaps strawberry banana would work and taste really good. Yes, that's a wonderful idea. And I really like that idea, Andrew. Definitely try putting different fruits together. I will say, and I will suggest that if you are going to put other fruits in this recipe, I would freeze those fruits first. I've tried myself to add strawberries to this to make it a strawberry banana ice cream, but I didn't freeze my strawberries and it really just turned into soup. Basically a smoothie. So I would suggest freezing whatever type of fruit you want, and then before adding it to the recipe. Can I put spinach in it? Yes, I think you should put spinach in. That's an awesome idea. Again, I would maybe recommend freezing the spinach first, just because spinach in particular, just like lots of other fruits, and well, every fruit and vegetable, it contains a lot of water. So if you don't freeze it first, it's going to really liquefy this recipe. But if you freeze it first, obviously the water content in the spinach is also frozen, so it's going to make it a bit more icy and the ice cream texture that you are looking for. Jamie, I will definitely send the recipe to you guys, but I will write it in the chat here very quickly. So essentially it's two or three, I'll put 1 to 3 bananas that of course you're going to cut and freeze. And then honestly, after that is whatever you guys want. So I'm going to put in here liquid. So either milk works great, or non-dairy milk works great, or even just water. And I'm going to put juice here because it sounds like a really great idea. And then any mix-ins you want. So for me, I put peanut butter, I put chocolate chips. You could do coconut flakes, you could do sprinkles, you could do nuts, anything like that. And so that's basically it. So yeah, banana's important, liquid important, and whatever mix-ins you guys want. So very simple, really great tasting. I know the weather's getting cold and I'm giving you a cold recipe, so maybe not the best timing, but we've been really blessed with such beautiful weather lately. So, you know, maybe now is the time. sneak that banana ice cream in before we're at -20. But really perfect for summer as well. And another thing you guys can do with this recipe is if you have a popsicle mold, you can take this, put it in the popsicle mold, and then make a popsicle out of it. So again, lots of different things you can do with this. I've even given this to my dog. He loves it. Of course, not with chocolate chips, just with the bananas. A little bit of peanut butter is one of his favorite treats in the summer. I just freeze it in little ice cubes for him. Keeps him busy. He loves it so much. So great treat for everybody all around. Definitely a I'll say a healthier alternative to ice cream if that's what you're going for. If you're trying to, you know, limit the amount of sweets, or you just don't want ice cream, or you don't like to eat ice cream if it doesn't work well with your stomach, things like that. This is a really good alternative. So please try it out and let us know if you like it. So I think that's it on this recipe front. I'm going to mute myself quickly and I'm going to go to take a seat, and then I can start answering any questions you guys have. And I am happy to answer questions regarding the recipe or nutrition in general, or whatever questions you have related to food, to diets, to nutrition, anything like that. I'm very happy to answer for you. So I'm going to mute myself quickly. Give me 10 seconds and we can get going on.
Okay, well, as Robyn gets settled here, if you guys do have a question about any nutrition or the recipe or anything like that, you can use the raise hand function within the participant tab. We will get to people that have their hands raised, or you can type your questions in chat and we'll make sure we monitor those too. Okay, Jordan Tyson, you can unmute and ask your question.
So where do we freeze bananas? Do you cut them and put in a bowl and freeze it?
Yes, so great question. Yeah, definitely you want to cut the bananas before freezing them. I made the mistake of taking a whole banana and freezing it, and it was just too difficult on the blender and food processor. So definitely cut it into smaller slices first. That's just going to make it a whole lot easier to blend up. And for your second question, how to store it in the freezer, I typically just throw it in a Tupperware container. Any type of container that's freezer friendly, or even just a plastic baggie has worked as well. I also have those reusable silicone baggie. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but they're just like the reusable plastic bags, and I have those, and I've tried them, and they work really well too. You could put it in a bowl as well. So anything that works for you will freeze the banana as well. Yeah.
Yes, we freeze fruits as well.
Perfect. Yeah. I mean, that's a great idea. And if you have any type of fruit that's going bad and you don't want to eat it right away, definitely put it in the freezer, save it for another time, a different recipe. So yeah, that's a really great idea.
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks, Jordan. Alex, you can unmute.
I got a question for you, Robyn.
Yes.
Do you use one banana or two?
So I would say it depends on how hungry I am before I make this recipe. So typically I use two, just because I like to eat ice cream. It tastes really good, but honestly, I've used up to 5 before. If I'm using it for an actual meal, like if it's for my breakfast or my lunch, I typically won't put chocolate chips in. I'll just have my peanut butter in it. But if I want to make a full meal, yeah, 4 or 5. But usually I do about 2, as if it's a snack or a dessert.
Yeah. So just one more feedback.
Mhm.
I can just have a banana in that drinks, like a smoothie.
Yep.
Because I just started drinking the smoothie that has banana inside of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's a really great idea. Bananas, I love adding bananas to smoothies because they add a lot of fiber, potassium, different vitamins and minerals, and they really help to bulk up the smoothie. I find that if I'm making a smoothie with just, something like berries and spinach or things like that, I find it very, very watery and thin. And if you like a smoothie like that, that's perfectly fine. I tend to enjoy smoothies that are a bit thicker in texture. So I find that adding a banana really helps to bulk up the smoothie. So again, whatever your preference is, but I'm glad you're enjoying your bananas in your smoothie. That's a really great idea.
Yes, of course.
Thank you, Alex. I did get one question in the chat, and they were asking if you know of any good sources of protein for snacks.
Yeah, that's a great question. So yes, there are lots of different types of protein-based snacks. And this is really important because we want to be eating protein throughout the day to keep ourselves full. So protein is a wonderful source of not only energy, but it really helps to keep our digestion and our stomachs full and feeling fuller for longer. So despite, if you guys remember, from my nutrition seminar, maybe a month or 2 ago, I mentioned that protein has 4 calories per gram, which doesn't seem like a lot, and it's not. But despite having only 4 calories per gram, it actually takes our bodies the longest to break down protein. So when we eat it, that's why we tend to feel full, because our bodies are taking a lot longer to break it down. So we're staying fuller for longer. Same with things like fiber. Fiber helps to bulk up our food and keep us satiated. But anyway, to get back to your question, perfect question. And it's really important that we are eating snacks and protein at every meal. So simple snacks that have a lot of protein in them would be things like a protein bar. Now, with those, there's a lot of them are not that great. And if we turn them over and look at the ingredients, it's questionable. So we want to make sure that we are reading the content, the ingredients, what's in them, as well as the amount of sugar and things like that. So I'm not an expert, but I would say if sugar is the first ingredient, probably not the best. If there's more than, let's say, 12 grams of sugar in that protein bar, it's not really a protein bar, it's a sugar bar. So we want to make sure that there's lots of protein in it, minimal sugar, potentially fiber, if that's something that the manufacturer is adding in, and things like that. So an example I could give you would be things like RX bar. It's just RX. Those are based on the protein content is from eggs, egg whites. So if you're, of course, sensitive or allergic to eggs, don't try them. But those types of bars are really great because they have very low sugar content. The sugar is coming from natural sources such as dates. So there's no added sugar, what we call added sugar, aka the white table sugar that's on in our pantries for baking, and things like that. So that would be one. Another one that I enjoy once in a while are called Quest bars. I think they do have quite a bit, they don't have a lot of sugar, but they have sugar alcohol in them. So if you don't like sugar alcohol or you're sensitive, again, omit that. So make sure you're always looking at the packaging and the ingredients first to make sure that the ingredients are not going to bother you. So I would say, so protein bars, of course, are easy. Something like a quick protein shake is also really quick and easy. Again, we want to make sure that we are eating quality protein powders. So we want to look for things that have minimal ingredients and stay away from fullers, such as like xanthan gum and things like that. Those ingredients are really not doing anything for us. They're just put in the products to bulk them up, make them look fuller and things like that. So they get to the manufacturer, it gets less product in there, but at a fuller capacity, if you know what I mean. So you can and if, of course, if you are sensitive to whey protein or casein protein, which are the proteins that are in protein powders from milk, you can go or opt for a non-dairy version. So things like Vega, they make a vegan protein powder. I believe it's pea protein based and things like that. So, and you take the protein powder, you can just put in water itself, shake it up, drink it, or even put it in juice, drink it up, or of course, put it into a smoothie and make a smoothie. So protein smoothie, perfect, pick me up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when your energy is slowing down. Other things that are not, let's say, non-protein supplement based, things like cheese and crackers, peanut butter on a slice of toast. Not a whole lot of protein in peanut butter, but it's still enough that you're going to feel full after eating it because it has a lot of fat as well. So the fat and the protein get together and to make yourself feel very full. Things like hard-boiled eggs, one of my favorite snacks. Hard-boiled egg, crack it open, salt and pepper, so good. Another one is just drinking a glass of milk, and I've done this myself. If I work out and I want something quick after a workout, I will just have a glass of milk, knowing that there's 9 to 12 grams of protein in there, and I'm getting that immediately. It's very easy for my body to break down. So another option, there's tons, but I'll stop because we're going on a tangent. But the last one I'll say is tuna. I love tin tuna. I think it's great. We want to look for the one that's packed in water, not oil. Open it up, drain out the water, put it in a bowl, mix it up with some mayonnaise, or if you guys don't like mayonnaise, an avocado. Nice mashed up avocado is a great substitute for mayonnaise. Put in there some lemon juice, salt and pepper. That's a perfect pick me up, perfect protein packed snack. Dip it with crackers, put on a slice of toast, things like that. So I think that I gave 5 examples. Easy, quick, protein packed snacks for the day.
Awesome. Okay, Miranda, you can ask your question.
I am borderline diabetic, Robyn.
Mhm.
What are healthy snacks to eat before bedtime? Because I always get a craving for stuff. So what's a healthy snack to eat before bedtime?
Great question. So for those who are unaware, if you are borderline diabetic, it means your blood sugar is quite high and you don't want to be eating a lot of sugar, because if your blood sugar spikes, your pancreatic cells are not working enough or working well enough to release insulin and things like that. So we want to make sure that we are keeping a stable blood sugar level. And so a great snack for you, Miranda, would be something that's going to keep you satiated, so full, but without spiking your blood sugar too quickly. So something like cottage cheese would be a really great snack. Taking, I think they even come in individual little packs now, like a yogurt almost. So you open up the lid, you can put in something like almond butter to sweeten it up a little bit. And that is packed full of fat and protein, very little sugar, and it's going to keep you full overnight, but it's also sweet enough that it's going to satisfy your craving. Another snack would be a sliced apple with peanut butter. Again, sweet enough that it's going to satisfy your craving, but the sugar from fructose is not going to spike our blood sugar levels the same as sucrose would, which is the white table sugar that you find in your pantry for baking. Those are two great options. Even if you wanted to make the banana ice cream, great option. Bananas, same thing. They're not going to spike your blood sugar as through the roof as regular ice cream would, but it's still going to satisfy your sweet tooth. So I think those three examples would be really great examples for you, Miranda.
Awesome, thank you. Jessica, you can unmute and ask your question.
Okay, my question is, what if the almond butter, can you put that in the banana ice cream?
You absolutely could, yes. Yep, I think it would taste really, really great. And if you like almond butter, and feel free, yeah, why not? I think that's a great idea.
Awesome, thanks, Jessica.
Oh.
Danielle, you can unmute and ask your question.
Hello, I
Hi.
am just wondering, Robyn, I don't eat a lot of meat, but I eat a lot of veggies, so how do I get complete proteins from veggies?
Yeah, that's a great question. So quick background for everybody, a complete protein is a protein source that has all 20 amino acids. Our body, there are 11 or 9, I forget which one is which, 11 essential and 9 non-essential. So the non-essential ones our bodies can make. So we don't necessarily have to consume them through food. However, the essential ones, our bodies cannot produce them. So we have to be eating them through food. And so a lot of animal products, such, steak, your poultry, etc., those are all complete proteins because they contain all 20 amino acids. Things like vegetables, non-animal sources of protein or non-animal sources of foods, they are not going to be complete proteins. But there is good news for individuals who don't eat a lot of meat. We can still get all of our 20 amino acids by not even touching animal sources. And how we do that is by combining different foods. So if you take, for example, if you take like a spinach and you take a pea protein powder, neither of those are animal based, but we put them together, they're going to make a complete protein because the amino acids in the pea protein powder are going to be different than the amino acids in the spinach. Of course, there's probably some crossover. They might have the same ones as well, but if you put them together, you're going to make a complete protein. So that's why individuals who are vegetarians or vegan, they can still get all of their amino acids and enough protein to fuel their bodies without even touching or consuming animal products. So the answer, Danielle, is to just eat a variety of foods and you'll be getting enough of the amino acids that you need.
Thank you, Robyn. Great
You're
answer.
Thanks, Danielle. Leonka, you can unmute.
Rob, my question goes back to the ice cream. I drink dairy-free product and eat dairy-free. Could you put yogurt in it?
Yes, absolutely. You would definitely put yogurt in it. You could, I bet it would taste fantastic with yogurt, and it would be a great idea because you wouldn't have to put a liquid. It would probably be thin enough to be a substitute for the liquid. And I just thought of it. If you took yogurt and you froze it first, that would be really good too, because it would make it even more creamy. Yeah, that's a really great idea. I think I'll try that myself. Thank you, Leonka.
Sorry, Robyn, it's Marilyn. I'm Leonka's caregiver.
Hi.
So she froze her yogurt first and had her frozen bananas. Would she have to add still a little bit of some sort of liquid?
Yeah, I think so, just to ensure that it's going to blend nicely.
Okay.
Yeah, I would suggest putting just a little bit of something in there, whether it's non-dairy milk or water, just to get it going a little bit. Help the blender out.
Does that answer your question, Leonka?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
perfect.
thank
Thanks,
you.
Robyn.
Thank you very much for all the great tips tonight.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leonka.
You're welcome.
And Andrea, you can or ask your question.
How's it going, Robyn?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Good. So you're talking about like some healthy foods, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In the mornings, I make my own breakfast. Like, have you heard of quinoa before? Have you tried it?
Yes, I love quinoa.
Yeah, and also I make millet and oatmeal.
Yeah.
For smoothie, for us, we put in like
kale. Oh my goodness, let's start. And a protein powder. Come on, Andreas.
Kale.
I just said it.
Let's see. Protein powder. Banana.
Nice.
Carrots.
Carrot
Wow.
pulp. Actually, from he does carrot juice every morning.
Wow.
What else? Almonds.
What kind of liquid do you put in it?
I'm sorry?
What kind of liquid? Do you put any juice in it? In your smoothie?
Just a minute. What was I just turned the volume up so I can hear you. What were we saying about the smoothie, Robyn? What was it again?
Oh, I was just wondering, what do you put any liquids in your smoothie, like juice or water?
Yes, of course. ABC.
It stands for Alberta. Sorry, not Alberta. Apple cider vinegar. Like you know what it is, right?
Yep.
Like my mom and I, we drink it in the mornings. And also, have you heard of kombucha? It's like how do you know what it is? It's like
fermented.
It's a fermented drink.
Oh yeah, it's yeah.
The ABC, but of course diluted, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we put an apple in, maybe when we have it. Well, apples we always have, but red beets sometimes we put in.
Yeah. Red beets.
Whatever there is around.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like.
And even we cut up a kombucha or in what's it called? And this is it the thing itself?
What thing? What thing, Mom? The
kombucha?
Yeah, from kombucha.
SCOBY.
Yeah,
it's
SCOBY.
That's
it. Yeah, you can put that in I have so many. Do you want one?
Can you guys come over and make my breakfast? Like, this sounds awesome.
Well, I don't think we would have time.
I'm just teasing, but that sounds awesome. And you know what, Andreas? It's funny you said quinoa, because guess what I've been having for the last 5 days for breakfast?
That is?
Quinoa.
Quinoa.
Yeah. Well, I tried to teach Andreas the difference, 2 to 1. It's always 2 to 1. Yes. Very difficult for him to understand. And so I tried to get out of the picture and let him do it, and so that he becomes more sure in himself. And then usually
too. I made too.
Usually he puts a handful of raisins in, or some sliced almonds in the porridge or so, no?
Yeah, that's great. And you know what? That would also be another awesome snack that's protein packed. Going back to my previous question, quinoa is awesome because it's a power grain. It has carbohydrate, it has protein, it has fiber, it has tons of vitamins and minerals. It's awesome. I love it so much. So I'm gonna also say eat quinoa for your protein packed snack. Really great pick me up. It's gonna keep you full. Andreas, I want to know, how do you eat your quinoa in the morning? Do you only put raisins or iced almonds in it? Do you put anything else in it?
Yeah, and some milk.
And some milk, but
Yeah.
you have to warm milk up, because I don't like cold milk, and so we just warm it up a little bit.
That sounds great.
Sometimes he has this morning some strawberries with it.
Nice.
And I love mangoes. So I peel it. They are not, I think we are over the time with mangoes,
Yeah, Robyn, I was going to ask you, Daniel, type in the chat, what do you put in your quinoa, Robyn, in the morning?
Yeah, so it seems like you are the sweet kind of guy. You like to put fruit in it. I'm the opposite. So I actually make a savory quinoa dish for my breakfast. And what I do is I just cook a big pot of quinoa so I can have it throughout the week. And so I just scoop them into my bowl in the morning. I put in the microwave, and then I actually take olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, and I drizzle it on my quinoa. And then I take 2 eggs. I fry my 2 eggs up. I put it on top. And then I like to put a little bit of avocado if I have some. Avocados are very tricky because they're so hard to get here and they're expensive. But if I'm willing to pay $3 for one, I grab one, I let it ripen up, I put a little bit on my quinoa, and then I top everything with salt and pepper. So it's very quick, very easy, very filling. So that's what I do. But I want to try the sweet stuff. I want to try your recipe, Andreas. It sounds delicious.
Awesome, Andreas. Thank you very much. We're going to move on to Akira and Angela for the last question, so you guys can unmute and ask your question.
Wondering for a snack, because I used to have high cholesterol. What's a good snack for that?
Great question. So what that means, for everyone listening and may not know, cholesterol is a type of fat that our bodies actually need in order to survive. However, if we have too much cholesterol, it can be detrimental to our health because it can basically clog up our clog up our arteries, for very basic scientific language. So there's 2 types of cholesterol. There's the good cholesterol and there's the bad cholesterol. So the good cholesterol is a type of cholesterol that's going to actually clear out our bodies, and it's going to make sure that everything's flowing nicely. And it's a type of fat that our bodies needs to survive and do different cellular functions, such as keeping us warm, protecting our organs, and carrying out cellular chemical reactions. However, the bad type is called LDL, high something, sorry, I don't know the acronym full name, but anyway, that is a type of cholesterol that's really not good for us because it's going to deposit in our arteries, clog up the arteries, and that can lead to things like heart attack and stroke. But to get back to your question, a good snack for someone with high cholesterol would be something that has fiber in it. So fiber is going to help clear out, and basically what fiber does is as it goes through the body, it kind of soaks up the bad cholesterol and helps our bodies excrete it. So a good snack would be, coming back to the quinoa. It has so much fiber in it. It's really going to bulk up the stool, keep us full, keep us regular, if you know what I mean. And it's a really great protein pack snack. Other things you could eat, basically you could eat whatever you wanted for a snack, so long as you're looking at the cholesterol content in there. So if you love eggs, I would maybe caution you to not eat the yolk, but you could eat the egg white. So you can get cartons of liquid egg whites. You can have that for a snack if you still want the protein from the eggs. things like that. So really fruits, vegetables, crackers, cheese, yogurt, granola bars, really anything would work for you as long as you're making sure that you're looking at the cholesterol content in that product.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Akira. I just want to say thank you to Robyn for sharing a recipe with us and doing a quick Q&A. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. So once again, the password was shrimp if you didn't get it before, but that's going to be it for the evening. So we will see you guys next week. Have a good rest of your week. Bye, everyone.